Well, good morning, folks. I'm Joe West. The pretty one here is Joe Wesley, and the other one
Whoa.
is.
I'll go with handsome. You can go
Okay.
with
Oh,
pretty.
geez. We
Hey.
haven't even started yet, and we're already at odds here. Thank you for visiting us. For those who are new to us, that Tommy is a motivational speech coach, and some people who know him, most people know him, say he's good at what he does. I'm not. He says basically that anybody can be a what is it? Confident public speaker. And me being the introvert that I am, I'm happy to sit in the back of the room, drop my jaw in awe, and say, "Geez, I wish I could be like that genetic encoded persona there." But
Wow.
he says anybody who wants it can be it. And I'm not buying it. And I still not buying it. Says let's do this way. This is still our 30-second episode. So,
Wow.
and folks, for those who claim I'm a slow learner, no, that's not the case. I'm just not buying into it yet. But
Wow. Now you're
the
a slow learner. No.
see, some people got to say it anyway. The concept here is hey, let's figure this out. Does it make sense to you or not? Should it be something you should consider or not? We don't rehearse it. We do share topics, so at least we're kind of in the same ballpark of concept here. And if you're watching us live, fantastic. If you're watching us on the replay, fantastic. We do, and the replay, either instance or the live, you can see us on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn. Please remember to leave comments, but you have to be signed in. And with YouTube, either through your Google account or your YouTube account. But we need your comments. Share us with other people, and let's grow and learn from it. And by the way, let's have some fun while we're doing it. And anyway, the topic today
Oh boy.
is here we. I gotta write this stuff down. It's just not intuitive for me. Uh, Confidence, public speaking, maybe not. We'll see where that goes. But
Uh,
what I find, it seems to be a lot of work. I have people who prepare for the speech making. They rehearse. They look at the slides. They do their bullet points. And then I see them the day after, and it's almost like a relief. I am so glad I'm through that. So
mm,
with that kind of thing to look at on a recurring basis, isn't that a
mm,
disincentive to want to
mm.
be a public speaker? I know some people say, hey, how you doing? I love this life. Let's talk, and talk some more. Where are we on this, Tom? Is it hard work? Is it a chore? Is it public? Is it fun?
Nah.
How does that stuff work?
I'm glad you brought it up. And anytime you hear the word in presentations or public speaking, if you hear the word I, you're confused. So if you're saying I'm glad I got through that, you shouldn't even do it. Because it's not about you and you getting through it. It's about your audience. And if you could turn it around and say, man, I am so happy that I got to give this information to my audience, that I helped people improve their business or I help people personally or professionally. When we get out of the I part about it, is when things start to change. It's not about you when you're giving a presentation. So it does ease you up a little bit to realize that you're there to help others and
Mm-hmm.
it's not about anything else. So when
Okay.
you think about it, Joe, one of the lessons I learned early on, early mentor in Toastmasters, his name was Frank Horkinson, and he was a dynamite guy. He was around forever. And he
Right.
used to say, there's three parts of public speaking. And when you get the last part, you'll know you've got it. When you
Okay.
first start out, the reason you're nervous and scared is it's all about you. What am I going to look like? What am I going to sound like? What are they going to, right? Blah, blah, blah. All about me, me, me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part, you start to create this message that you think is the greatest message in the world. It's me, and
Mm-hmm.
my message, listen to my message. So once you get out of the I and the me and you start to think in the we and us, it changes everything. So the first part is you think it's about you. The second part, you think it's about your message. When you grow as a speaker or a presenter, you start to realize it's all about your audience. What are the needs of your audience? How can you help your audience? What can you deliver to your audience to make them better?
Well, I hear that, but
Yep.
on the other hand, when I watch, my wife likes to watch these shows where people win prizes,
Yeah, me
and
too.
the bell, spin the dial, whatever it is, and then
Nice.
And then when they win, they're jumping up and down saying, whoa, I won, and won. And,
Right.
and so it is about them or me if I were on that stage. And my wife is also jumping up and down saying, why are you celebrating? We don't get to go home with the check or the car or whatever it may be. Or someone talks about they just have a grandchild, they're getting married, I'm doing a vacation. So there clearly are people who are very comfortable talking about me, which I, by the way, may or may not want to hear. So
Right.
that seems to be kind of a parody there. I'm not even
Well,
saying the word
a
correctly.
game show is pure entertainment for everybody. It's entertainment.
Right?
It's the audience is getting something from that guy jumping up and down. They feel his excitement, they feel his joy. So they are receiving something from him. So when you think about it in an entertainment kind of a thing, people clapping, people smiling as an audience, that's an energy that's coming from the stage no matter what you're doing. It could be comedy or strictly someone hitting the 100 on the wheel in The Price is Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's excited for them because they wish it was them. So it's all about the audience, no matter how you look at it, and that's why they do these things. If they didn't have us, they wouldn't need a studio audience.
Okay,
If they didn't bring an energy.
I hear that. So let me do a more personal example. And so I'm not accused of being misogynist. I'll give two different examples. One is the guy that just hits the home run hit.
Right.
And he tosses his bat and strolls around. Or the other one's the girl that has the engagement ring, and it's like all of a sudden that hand is on a balloon that can't stay down. It keeps floating up in the air. Isn't that about me, that they're sharing actively with the world around them?
Yeah, but they're not giving a presentation. That's definitely based on ego. Look at me, look at me. Like I mentioned earlier, that's the first part of giving a presentation is look at me.
Right.
And talking about me, me, me. If you're talking to an audience and they hear the words me and I too many times, they're going to shut off. We've discussed this now, I think you said 30 something times, that the secret is with them. Mm-hmm. Your audience is sitting there saying, what's in it for me? Right. They don't care that you can come out and say, look at my engagement ring. I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. As long as it's wrapped around a story that's going to be important for your audience. It's fine to say, hey, I'm so excited. I'm thrilled. I just got engaged. Get some applause. And then you can go into a story on what marriage is going to be like or what it was like to be single. But you have to wrap around, no matter what's going on, has to be wrapped around a story that you bring to your audience. No one cares that you got engaged unless that they're engaged. How's that? Nice.
Okay. I hear that. And as you're talking, I do think sometimes, folks, a thought occurred to me that sometimes you'll see presentations, public speaking, and I guess there's a difference where usually a young guy, he's got the huge grand house behind him, he's got the Rolls Royce next to him, his gorgeous, whatever it may be, next to him. And the implication, and it's about him clearly in terms of he's selling his merchandise, his product, but somehow he gets across the idea, if you hang it with me and follow my dialogue, you too can be a part of this. So, and I use that as an example. It's not so much, it shouldn't be about me, but what you've kind of said for that third step, how does it relate to your audience, perhaps? Is that kind of the tie-in there?
Well, you just said it. The guy standing there with his whole image is, hey, look what I've done. You can too. For $2,400, I can send you my packet on how to get a car like mine. Exactly. So it's actually creating an image, right? So he has this image. Then he creates the image in your mind of what it would be like for you to be standing here instead of me. So once you have the image, you can start to have a vision and you buy into what he's saying and you believe what he's saying. And the next thing you know, you're going to be doing the behavior that he did to get what he got.
Right.
Interesting.
What I'm trying to do here is merge the two steps that don't work well, you say, about me, versus what works for your audience. So maybe the challenge of a public speaker to be more comfortable is to not so much not talk about me, because I represent my product, my business, but the limiting factor may be I'm not really believing there's value for you enough that I'm still not comfortable with it. So I don't have to overthink it. That if I have something that I think you would really benefit by this, I'm convinced by it, why would I not want to share it with you?
There you go. If it's something that changed your world and helped you, have, more or better or different, right? And that's why, you know, there's always the person who's legit, who's changed their world, changed their life, and their story can have impact on the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the snake oil salesman
Mm.
who made it up and it's not real, it's not true. And they're going to tell you. So there's, this is when we're talking about, but it's still a presentation. Let's face it. Let's put it this way: the snake oil salesman might be the best presenter on the planet.
Yeah,
Might be the
some of
best
them are
in
pretty
public.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're usually very good.
yeah, I'm kind of looking at you suspiciously also while you're talking. But go
I
ahead. I
have
don't mean
no
to
snakes
interrupt.
and I have no oil. That's okay. No, but yeah, I get it. The reality is, it's storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Really, what it comes down to: storytelling. Here's what I did. Here's how I got it. But more importantly, here you too can have it by following these 7 easy steps to financial freedom. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's and people buy into it. Sometimes it's legit, and sometimes it's a scam.
I hear that, and it occurred to me, and the audience may or may not know, obviously, unless they know that person. But I think some of the hesitation of public speaking is not being clear internally of your value. Again, when that person is talking about how their son broke the track record at the game 2 days ago, or got the last score for soccer, perhaps,
Yep.
or a mother who says their son married a doctor, or their son is going to get married to a daughter, engaged. They have this intrinsic value, it seems, and they're happy to
Right.
share it. So it's not so much we shouldn't focus on me, but we should discover the value of me, what I can offer you. Is that kind of the thing I should be thinking about?
A mom bragging about her son, that's a personal thing completely.
Mm-hmm.
That's fulfilling to her and her only, until she says, your son can follow what my son did and become an Olympic medalist. Understand how it goes? If you keep saying, I, my son,
Mm.
my son, my son, here's what my son did, and perhaps your son can follow that direction, then you're helping someone,
Okay, that was
right?
kind of right. That's kind of what I was asking. That
Yeah,
so the limiting factor, it seems to me, is not so much that I'm talking about me.
right.
The limiting factor is I haven't formulated a concept that relates to the audience.
Right. Here's
That
here's what I learned. Here's what it did for me. So let me teach it to you.
mm-hmm.
Right. That's when you're living a good life, is that I learned this and it helped my life. Let me show you how I did it so your life can improve as well.
I
It's a
understand.
great way to look at life. It really is.
Okay, and I guess if one becomes comfortable with that interaction, rephrase that. I spoke to a lady once who happened to be a public speaker, uh, confidence coach, and she
There you
says
go.
she wants all of her clients when they're talking on that stage to the audience that they want to project that speaker, that the audience gets me, that if I connect in my dialogue well enough, you get me. And I says, I disagree. As a member of that audience, I want to feel not that I get you, but you get me.
Yeah.
Because if you get my concerns, you get my anxieties, you get my struggles, you're more inclined to also get my dreams and my aspirations. So it's kind of maybe what you're saying, that not I connect with you, that you connect with me. You come to my
Yeah.
part of the world in public speaking. Is that a
Well,
concept?
without a doubt, it should be a back and forth, that the audience gets you and you get your audience. But as a speaker and a presenter, most important that you're speaking to the right audience with the right topic that can help them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's really what it comes down to. Is that's when we talk about being prepared, calling up, finding out what is the needs of my audience. If you're working in corporate America and the HR puts it together with you, send out something to the HR department, asking questions on what you can do to help them.
Right.
Yeah. So really, that's what it comes down to.
Well, I'm going to actually, this may be another talking point. I understand you've been invited to be a speaker
Right.
and you have a group defined. But on the other hand, if you're talking in front of a networking group, if you're talking in a Zoom group, be it physical or otherwise, maybe you don't know your audience. And maybe that's part of the challenge. I don't
Right.
know. And I'm not sure about the reception because it's a heterogeneous audience and not a predefined.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some backup plan we might talk in our next session, but do you have a quick version of things to come in the upcoming dialogue and how to handle that concept?
Well, what you just said about networking, right? The thing that people think and what gets them so nervous is that they need to present. But in reality, at a networking event, instead of being a better speaker, you need to be a better listener.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go to a networking event, people get it confused that you're there to speak and present. But in reality, you're there to find out about the other person.
Right.
Because in a networking event, when someone's in your network, all you want to help them do is improve their network by
Right.
connecting them with the people who can help them. So
Right.
it's not about speaking at a networking event, even though you should have your pitch down and you should practice and know what you're going to say. But what really people get confused is you're not there to give a presentation. You're there to listen so you can help somebody else.
Okay. I hear that. So we'll have that go. We got a few more moments.
Okay.
On the other hand, my bias is when I go to a networking group that I'm assuming that they're there to sell their product, and
Yeah.
they could really give flip
Yeah.
about what I'm saying. So it's an intriguing. As a result, I'm even more hesitant, more than not, because I feel like I'm imposing. I'm taking up space. I'm taking up time. And that may be an extreme concept of it,
Right.
but I bring it up because if this is true for many other people, I would suspect much of what you do is to help deal with these anxieties, deal with these issues, and becoming a confident public speaker.
Well, you understand, when you go and you're networking, it's really connecting. The first thing that has to happen, you can go up and try and sell all you want, but if you don't build rapport with the people, they're not going to buy. They're not
Mm-hmm.
going to refer you. So really, through conversation or being able to speak to people, the most important part of that is when you're sitting down is building rapport. And one of the best ways to build rapport is to find more about the other person
Mm.
than yourself. So
Uh-huh.
really the first part of sales, the first part of presenting yourself. Listen, one of the most important things I always say when you're going to start a speech or you're going to give a presentation, your audience has to like you. They have to be drawn in for some reason or they'll shut you off.
Mm.
They'll turn you off. It's human nature not to listen if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's your job to build rapport and certainly make the audience like you so they want to listen more. And that's a
Okay.
whole nother topic for a whole nother day.
Fair enough. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. Well, folks, we've hit our curfew time.
no way.
Thank you very
Wow.
much, Tommy, for your comments.
Woo.
I hope you do appreciate it, and please share your thoughts and comments. We're going to end our broadcast now.
That was a quick time there, my friend.
It
Wow.
wasn't